Hello guys, and welcome back to The Creatives, where we connect fashion and film together. I am your co-host, Tevin Brown.
And I'm Simone Campbell. And today we have CARISSA Mitchell coming to us from Mitchell & Associates Talent Agency. They are astoundingly successful, credits from Nickelodeon to Disney, Stranger Things, Breaking Bad. Fantastic recognition all across the country. Thank you so much, CARISSA, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Well, where do we start? I guess, let's start at the start, especially to be one of Hollywood's 7 recognized casting agencies. I mean, where does the origin story begin? Talent agencies.
Yes.
Forgive me. So, how did you get started?
You guys are probably kind of young, sweet babies, but back before IMDb, there was like a book called Leonard Maltin's Guide to Movies, and it was like that thick. And every time a movie came out, I was looking at that, and it was like IMDb but in book form. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'd be like, who was that in that movie? And then you start finding out things like Martin Scorsese always has the same actors in his movies and stuff like that. I became obsessed with actors in movies, just obsessed. My parents were from LA, but I grew up in Wisconsin. And, when I went to school, I said, I want to go into film production. And they said, no, we left LA. We don't want you to go there. Stay. Yeah. We left there. And they were hipster, like in the 60s, like LA people. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up in Wisconsin. So anyway, I went into graphic design instead. And so I was a graphic designer for 20 years, mom, bossy person, organized bossy person. And then when my children were starting to grow up and things, I realized I had to either get more training as a graphic designer when, I learned graphic design before there were computers. That's how old I am. And so they were literally rolling in the computers as I was graduating. And so I learned it on the job. I lied a lot about knowing computer stuff the first 10 years or so.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what, I'm either going to have to go back to school at 46 and figure out how to do animation or CAD drawing or, all the new technology. And then I realized, and I lived in New Mexico, and all of a sudden I realized that the film industry was all around here in New Mexico. And so on a whim, I signed up for the CNM film program. On a whim. I didn't tell anyone. And I did. And the first night I just cried all the way home because I was like, I had found my people. Yeah. I had found my people, And so the CNM program, for those that don't know, is an incredible program where it takes you through all the different departments of a film set. It's mostly for film crew, but you can get behind the camera. You can, I did stalk you a little bit. It looks like you've done some AC work, and stuff like that. I knew I wanted to be in casting or something to do with the actors. So I kind of started going through the ranks of being an AD, which is an assistant director, which are the bossy people of the film crew, a lot of them, and moved up to second, which takes care of background, and then started doing commercials and independent projects, and started doing second AD, doing the call sheet, all that kind of stuff. And then I started casting independent projects, and then I met all the agents, and then I started meeting all the actors. As a second AD, you have to wait until the end of the night. So I just sat around talking to actors all night and just fell in love with actors in New Mexico who were just crying out to be considered for the roles that were coming in from Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. We were starting to get all these great rebates and things like that for local crew and local actors and things like that. But they would still bring somebody in from LA, just because we sort of had this, I say we, the acting community, I'm not an actor, but I'm we with them. Sort of a hobbyist sort of reputation. And maybe somebody from LA would be more professional. Even though everyone from LA is from Ohio or somewhere else anyway, So I said, okay, well, let's figure out how the actors in New Mexico could be on the same level playing field as actors in LA, and they don't have to fly them in and feed them and put them in a hotel and drive them around right down the street. And so through several courses, several meetings of people and serendipity and destiny and all of these kinds of things, I purchased a small agency that was for sale. And it just had 200 actors. She wanted to get out. She was done. And to tell you how done she is, I think she's a middle school math teacher now. That's how much she didn't want to be an agent.
She jumped out.
She's out, like, to willingly work with middle schoolers instead of actors. I'm like, God bless you. But anyway, so I knew nothing. And she said, I bought the agency, and she said, we'll have an overlap period of training. And after 2 days, she's like, I'll be at O'Neill's if you need me. I love her so much. And so I just hit the ground running, and I had 200 actors. I have a few more than 200 now, and now I work in Los Angeles, and I work in Atlanta and Utah, and just absolutely love actors. I love the actor plight. I love the actor's mind. They're not the most stable bunch, but I love them.
True.
And we've had hit after hit after hit in the film industry, starting with the pandemic and then strikes and fires. And, it's like, I don't know what 2025 is going to do for us, but I have to stay in this constant optimistic viewpoint about this, because it's like we just keep getting things thrown at us. The pandemic was really hard for everyone in the film industry. The whole face of casting has changed. Everything is self-tapes. Nobody's going in. All the casting directors have shut down their offices. It's all self-tape, and a few little in-person callbacks and things like that. So the whole entire face of the actor's process has changed since the pandemic. Okay, that was a lot of me to say in one thing. So
I love it.
So perfect. No.
Okay, so I love what I do. I love actors. And so what I said to the actors was, we have to be better. We have to be better than LA actors in order to be on a level playing field. So we need better headshots. You can't just rely on 20-year-old headshots because you think that the local casting director knows you well enough. Well, there's like 15, 20, 30 other people that are making that decision that don't know you as an actor. And so you have to have all of your materials together, and you can't just rely on the local casting director knowing you well enough for them to talk the big wigs, into the suits, into casting you.
To scheme.
Yeah. So to their credit, I feel like the acting pool in New Mexico killed it. They've been killing it. They really pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and became more professional, decided that this was a career, and it wasn't just a loosey-goosey Wild West kind of thing, cowboys and stuff. And so now we've got series regulars that are coming out of New Mexico, leads. One of my cute guys just got a lead in an independent film because he was a rodeo. He did rodeo and up in Colorado, and then he just got to work 10 days as a lead in a movie here, and I'm so thrilled for him. Nice. And those are the things that make me cry, because I'm like, how hard do actors work for literally nothing all the time? You don't hear the feedback. I think you're in theater, right? And it's like when you're being directed, if they say nothing to you, that means that you're doing it right, right? And so you don't get a lot of feedback. You don't get a lot of strokes. You don't get a lot of there's a lot of competition and things like that. And so you have to be okay with yourself and make yourself the own measurement. Give yourself your own measurement of success and how motivated you're going to be and how much you're going to do it, because you don't get a lot back, and then you get that one thing and you think your life is going to change, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But my joy comes from that phone call where I get to say, guess what? You got the part. You got it.
Wow.
And then I get to cry.
Sharing that moment with
yes,
them.
yes. And one of the biggest ones, and I would say one of the biggest reasons I went into this was because I was a huge Star Wars fan, just huge Star Wars fan. And the moment that I got to tell my first actor, to get on a Star Wars TV show on The Mandalorian was like I had to cry and then call him and then cry some more. And then he started crying, and he's like a stunt guy. He's like 6'5", and like the biggest, meanest guy ever. He's crying, and he's like, the whole reason I got into this was because I love Star Wars, and I'm like, so those are the joyous moments, that make it all worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Yes. Oh, Star Wars.
Wow.
And now he's not the only one that I've had on a Star Wars show.
The first, but not the last.
Yes, exactly. So that was great. Yeah.
I mean, to go from Wisconsin to then move to New Mexico and do all of the things that you did, and then purchase an agency with just 200 people, and to now grow it to, I believe you said, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New Mexico, and Utah.
Yeah.
Like that is absolutely incredible. How do you manage kind of?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Much?
I mean, a lot of my actors are in all of the markets, and so there's some overlap. But I don't talk to everyone every day because it's like from week to week. There might be an episode of a TV show that just needs all people over 60 or over 70. So that week I'm talking to a lot of my mature clients, and then there, when we had the Loud House here, the Nickelodeon show, then I was working with the kids. All the time. And, so each week I don't know who I'm going to be talking to and who I'm going to be sending auditions to. So it's you never know what's going to happen in each week, what's going to come out. Because I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did have a crystal ball, and I knew what kind of roles were coming down the pike and what kind of projects were coming. If I had a crystal ball, man, that would be so great. So great.
Agreed.
I know. But so I get an opportunity each week to talk to different categories of my clients. Yeah. LA's a little bit different, and I have an LA assistant. I have assistants that are taking care of things in the other markets. I am the one that has my eyes on New Mexico. And this is a great place to live and work and make movies.
Yeah.
It really is. We are so lucky here. So very lucky. Yeah.
So I'm curious, working with people from all walks of life, doing all kinds of different things, there's that one like creative spark that, exists in all of them. So how does interacting with that on a daily basis, like kind of ignite that creative spark in you?
That is my creativity at this point, because my creativity is matching actors up to the roles.
Yeah.
That's my creativity. And so I have to know intimate details about all of my clients. Like, do you speak Spanish? Do you ride a unicycle? Do you, today it was strippers. I needed to find strippers today. And so, and several people came out of the woodwork that I didn't know. I put a little message out, and I did not know that they were strippers, and so now they have auditions for a cool TV show. So I like to go to, a lot of actors are doing film and television, and they're doing theater. I like to go see them in theater because theater has such an incredible suspension of disbelief that I can see my actors doing different kinds of things than they would normally do. And then that sparks my creativity about submitting them for things. And I'm like, well, I saw them be Van Gogh, with a French accent, and and they could do this role, and so that is the creativity for me. And then honestly, the hardest part is just, when is it going to happen for me? When am I going to get that next audition? Not me, actors. When am I going to get that next audition? When am I going to book something? I'm sorry, I haven't booked anything. And I'm like, I have to stay in this Pollyanna, like excited, optimistic thing that it's right around the corner for every one of my actors.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. It's going to happen tomorrow. And there's no process, there's no formula, there's no handbook on how this is supposed to happen. I was just thinking earlier today that when I was getting into film, I kind of probably thought of it more like a river, and I needed to jump in the river and go along the river. Well, rivers aren't really rivers. They if there's a block, they find another way, you know, and they find another way. And I just heard some producers that you had in a previous podcast talk about make your own work, do your own thing. If it's not happening for you, make your own way. And that is absolutely true as an actor as well. Write things, make your own projects, go with your friends and do a scene or whatever. And also do something else, you know, do something else. Be an interesting person that's not just the desperate actor that's waiting for the phone to ring. You know, get involved in theater, get involved in nonprofits, do things that you love, work with animals, just find something to occupy your mind, but it will also make you a more interesting person.
Yeah.
And to that end, I always say when people are like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, have you worked on yourself? Like, are you the best version of yourself that you can be? Work in love and kindness and respect and loving people and being a good person. One of the things that a casting director can tell, even on tape, like, because I said it's not coming into the room anymore, but it's on tape, they can tell desperation, they can tell nervousness, they can tell all of these nonverbal things within 5 seconds of even watching a tape, they can tell. And so what are you telling them about you? What are you telling? Are you telling them, I got this, I am this role, I'm going to make these strong choices, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't? Or is it, oh my God,
please love me.
Yeah, love me, acknowledge me, all these things. So working on yourself is really important. And I think a lot of actors go into acting to escape from themselves, and you can't. The camera sees you and feels everything that you're feeling, especially when it's right up close, right?
Yeah.
And so, he's like, I know. So work on those things on yourself so that you're not a green, ugly monster walking in that's all about being scared and desperate and angry and, desperate. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
No. And plus, that's the energy that you're going to attract. You know, that the more, if there's like that fear there, you're so afraid you're not going to get it. You're
probably not going to get it because you've told them non-verbally that you're not going to get it.
Exactly. Yeah. What is, like, obviously surrounded by that energy, especially probably younger people.
I have to tell you, no, it's the middle-aged
really?
White guys that are the worst.
Wow.
I don't mean to be racist, but they're the worst when it comes to, like, insecurity, and probably because they've been through the military, they've been through law enforcement, they've been through business, and there's like a success. There's a way to be successful in business and the military and all those kinds of things. So they're like, "Where's my handbook?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "There is none. Yep. There is none."
And it's
kids are actually better.
Yeah.
Kids are better. They're like, "Yeah, throw my script away. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't." They're fine. They're like, "Can we get ice cream?"
The free spirits.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
And I don't want to ruin them, by being like, guess what? This is the biggest audition of your life, Don't do that.
But plus, acting is so vulnerable.
It is. And you have to show your heart and then protect your heart at the same time, right? I don't know how. I'm so glad I'm not an actor because I don't think I could do that. I'm just all out there. My heart is just there. So I don't know how to protect my heart.
But I mean, in your line of work, I think that it's so important, to connect with your clients, feel that connection and to know them, like you said, so intimately it's such a special position to be in.
Yeah, it's weirdly intimate. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. And good.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the most special part about your job? Like, what makes you wake up every day and be excited to connect with these people?
Kind of two things. One is when the breakdowns come through from casting directors, and I'm like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
I got this. Like and then writing an email and saying, you have to see this person. I just saw them in a play, or they play the guitar, or whatever it is, and just be like, this person literally is this character.
Yeah.
You have to see them, and so I'm providing a service for casting directors, right? And so if I can provide that actor that's just perfect for that role, that feels really good, really good. And then, like I said earlier, that that moment when I get to call and tell them that they got the part, but also that moment when I send them a really, really good audition that I know they're going to kill. You know, that might be higher than their last audition or their last booking. That might be a really, really good opportunity that I know they can land it. Or at least be a heavy contender. You don't know who else is reading for it, you know. But those are my favorite things.
Yeah.
For good reason.
No, absolutely. And I think that's so incredible. And especially with the plethora of like people that you've met through the industry and all of these different things. I guess my big question would be for those that are looking to get like even an agent as like the first step. What would be your best advice of what you look for necessarily when you're picking out new talent, or what other agencies might be looking for?
Well, I'm a little bit at the point where I'm not building brand new talent anymore, unless they're kids.
Yeah.
I will take kids, but I will say that across the board, I could probably speak for a lot of agents. If you have some very, very special skill, very special skill, or you live in a community or a market where there aren't a lot of you, like we don't have a lot of Asian people of Asian ethnicity here. It's growing, but we don't have a lot. If you speak certain languages, that makes you very, very marketable. But when I'm looking at a brand new actor, have they done theater? Have they taken improv classes? Have they done background work? What acting classes have they taken? What online? Now that since the pandemic, some of the greatest acting coaches in the world are now online, and they will do one-on-ones with you, and they will you don't have to travel to New York to see, or LA to see Howard Fine or Leslie Kahn or some of these great teachers. They'll do it online. So the world has gotten bigger and smaller at the same time. So training, doing something, background, or doing something on screen, doing your own projects, writing your own projects. What else? Having theater, those kinds of things are the things that I'm looking for. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Versatility and passion.
Yeah.
So
and not to be weird. Don't be weird or a
be
jerk.
normal with a little bit of pizzazz.
Yeah. And if you're a child performer, man, do I have to vet out those parents, because parents can be crazy. Because sometimes they want it more than their kids do, and then it turns over into, not good behavior on set, and the parents can be a detriment to their child's career by their behavior. So one of the best things that my friend who runs a children's theater locally here says to the actors is you're always auditioning. Everybody's always watching you.
Yep.
You never know who at craft services is the producer's girlfriend, or or somebody just watching you. You don't know that they might have some control over the next project.
Or the guy that you cursed in the middle of the road.
That's right. That's right. I have this funny story about one of my actors called me, and she was just in tears because she had, I don't know, for those of you that know New Mexico, you used to have to go up past the snakes to go up to the Netflix studios. And she was late for her audition. She was barreling up the hill to get there for a TV audition. I think she even did one of those things where she ran past somebody, pushed the close button on the elevator in front of somebody's face, and sat there, and then was just totally stressed out. And then when she walked in to the audition, guess who that person that she had closed the door on was sitting there? Was the casting director, and they're like, oh. Hi. And you're like, oh, so she was auditioning the whole drive. She probably sped past that casting director on the street and everything. And so it's like, you never know.
It's true.
When and where you're auditioning.
Oh my God.
Well, Carissa, thank you so much for coming.
Oh my God.
Seriously, thank you.
I feel like we could sit and talk for hours. Genuinely.
You guys are great.
Oh my
Thank you so much.
Best of luck in your careers.
Thank you so much.
If you ever need to talk to somebody, I'm here. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. They're like,
okay, really?
Well, guys, Thank you so much for tuning into The Creatives once again. My name is Tevin Brown.
I'm Simone Campbell.
And if you are on YouTube, I would like you to please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us to be able to get more viewership, more stretch out, to bring on more people to show their creativity in both fashion and film and connect it together. I'd like to thank so much our sponsors and Studio 519 for letting us film here. And I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. And I would love to thank Carissa one last time for coming on here. She has been an absolute gem.
Yes.
Guys, please have a great and safe night. And please tune into the next one. I wanna cry. I wanna hide. I wanna